Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup look for you that I have been wearing this week, and this is my go-to no makeup look if you are trying to get ready fast for work and you just don't want to spend a lot of time on your makeup. I think this is a great routine. So we're just going to go ahead and jump into this, and I'm actually going to be using a product on my face that, well, there's a couple of products that I'm going to be using that I don't think I've featured in videos, but this one product, the Maybelline Dream BB Fresh, I never really talk about this on my channel. I mean, I did way back when I first started my channel. This was a favorite product, and I had kind of forgotten about it for a while. And a few years ago, I kind of got back into this. Like, I kind of go in my phases where I'll use this a bunch, then kind of forget about it, then use it a bunch again. But this is a really great day-to-day, very lightweight product. So I'm going to be using this. But before I go in with this, I have been priming with the Revlon Prime Plus Brightening and Skin Tone Evening. So this has like a little bit of a slight like glow in the product. It's not as glowy as a lot of the other like glowy primers that I've been using, but it just gives the skin like a slight glow, like a slight golden glow. So, and this stuff smells like lemon, like a lemon bar. So I've really been enjoying that. So I'm gonna put this all over. And if you were really looking to save on steps, you could totally skip the priming step, but I've really been enjoying this product underneath this Maybelline Dream Fresh, or Dream BB Fresh. Which, do you guys remember the craze like with the BB and CC creams? Maybe those are still pretty popular. So now I'm just going in with this Maybelline BB Fresh, and I do like to apply this with my hands. And the shade that I use in this is 110 Light Medium. So that's another reason why I really like this product day to day. It just gives a nice light coverage. I like that it has SPF in it. I feel like my under eyes are looking really dark today. So just kind of take and blend that down on my neck a little bit. And this has just light coverage, but I do find that it really evens out my skin tone well, and it lasts really good throughout the day, even though it is like a BB tinted moisturizer type of product. And then I usually like to go back over this with like my makeup sponge once I get it all blended with my hands. But I do find that like it applies the best with the hands, because like if you try to use a makeup sponge to apply this, it just blends too much of it out, where it shears it out too much. Which maybe I should try like applying the Rimmel multitasker or like the E.L.F Halo Glow or something like that with my hands, to see if maybe those products would have like a little bit more coverage. But I am just going back with my sponge, like I said, just making sure that's all blended. So like, as you can see, like you can still see my skin, but it just evens everything out. So I really like this. I never hear anybody talk about this product, but it's a good just sheer, like if you want a no makeup look. And then I am going to go in with the Rimmel, the Multitasker Concealer, and I'm going to, conceal these dark under eye circles that I got going on today. But today I'm going to try to go and file my taxes. Like, I've been putting it off. But we're supposed to be getting some storms this morning, and I'm just like, is it going to be too stormy? Like, I think right now we're like under a tornado watch or something. But it seems really calm outside. Like, it doesn't seem stormy. I mean, like, it is a little bit windy, but it's not like that windy. But I know some other places got, I think, like some pretty bad storms last night, but hopefully it doesn't storm too bad. Okay, I already feel like that looks so much better. So I'm just gonna go with a little bit more. And during the week, I have been using like the E.L.F bronzer contour, and I have been using this shade in Fair Light, which is like a little bit more cool. And it's not as cool toned as I thought it was gonna be. And I actually ordered the lightest. Like, I thought this was the lightest shade, but I ordered like the very lightest. I think it's just in Fair, which is the really cool toned one, like that's good for contouring. So I am going to use this today, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. I just have like a few stray brow hairs I need to tweeze. And if you're curious about my earrings, like, I love these. I just got these recently, like over like this past week from Forever 21. So if I can link these below, I will, but I just think they're so cute, so springy, the little butterflies. Okay, and then with the brows, I've showed you guys this in like, because I've been doing these really light everyday makeup looks. So I'm going to be using the Maybelline Build Brow, and this is my favorite brow product to use when I want my brows to look really natural. So first I'll just go in with the gel and brush my eyebrows up or into like the style that I want my brows to be, which I definitely like a little bit more of like a fluffy brow look when I'm doing a more like natural, no makeup look, just because I find that it looks a bit more natural on the brows. So just brush the hairs up. And then I'll go in with the pen and just fill in any areas. I don't want my mirror to block, but I just fill in any like sparse kind of gaps in my brows. And I don't fill them in like too much, just to give them a more natural look. Okay, so like as you can see, like they're like the gaps are filled in now, so it just looks like really natural brows. And then we're gonna go ahead and move on to the bronzer, and I'm gonna be using the E.L.F bronzer contour, and like I said, this is in Fair Light. So with this, you really need just the smallest amount, so I'm just gonna do one little dot over here. I have just found that with this product, it's best to start out with a little bit and slowly add what you need, since it is pretty pigmented. And I don't know if you could tell at the beginning of the video, but I did get my hair cut slightly a little bit shorter. And I just went last night to get that done, but I'm really enjoying it at the shorter length. So this brush that I'm using to blend out this bronzer contour is from an Amazon brush set. I mention it a lot here on my channel, so I'll have it linked down below I'm gonna use several of those brushes today to do the rest of my makeup. So like, as you can see, like that product is not too overly cool toned, which I was kind of surprised, because compared to the other one that I purchased in light, it seems pretty cool toned. So I'm really curious to see what the fair one is going to be like. But I just ordered that one from Ulta today. So let's just do 2. See, I feel like this side is so much better than the other. It's like you always have one good side, one bad side. But what are some of your favorite products to use when you're doing a very natural, like no makeup look? Let me know, or let us know down in the comments. I'm always curious to see what you guys are using, what you're loving. So we're just gonna do just 2. And I know at first it always looks a bit crazy, but in the end it will come together. I'm going to take a little bit here down on the jawline area. But I just found like a nice bronzer really just brings some life to the face. And then to bronze up my neck a little bit, I mean, maybe you don't need to do this step, but I just find that like my neck is kind of lighter than me and I like to kind of warm it up a little bit. So I'm just going in with this L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear foundation in a powder, and this is in the shade Golden Beige. And I'm just gonna lightly brush that. And sometimes I like to go over this bronzer with a little bit of this just to kind of set it a little bit more. I mean, I do find that that camo bronzer lasts well even without setting it, but okay. And then for the eyes, I've really been enjoying this Hard Candy Mood Shadow Paint. I know I've been using this a lot in my videos. This is in the shade Halo, but this is just such a great product to even out your eyelids and also kind of warm your eyelids up just slightly, especially if you're really fair like me right now. I'm gonna go in with the Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. I'm just gonna blend that all over the lid and up into the crease a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna actually go in with some of this bronzer and throw that in the crease. And I'm gonna use this blending brush from the Amazon brush set, the same set that has the brush I was using to blend out the bronzer contour. And I'm just going to blend this in the crease. I find that just like using your bronzer and sometimes even your blush in your crease just helps to, you know, keep things looking more natural, more like no makeup look. You just don't want anything to be too overdone when you're doing like a no makeup. I love a good either gloss, like slightly tinted gloss, or a tinted lip balm on those days when I'm doing like a no makeup look, or I want a lip that looks a bit more natural. So this Dior Lip Glow, the Lip Reviver Balm in pink, is such a beautiful shade for that. And I love these Dior lip balms, because once they wear off, like they pH adjust to your lips slightly, like they get a little bit darker once you put them on. And then once like that balm wears off, you're left with a slight staining on the lips that just looks super, like it looks so natural. And I love this shade in pink. Like it just looks so natural on the lips. Okay, now I'm debating if I want to do a blush or not, because sometimes if I want to look like it's a no makeup look, sometimes not using any blush can look a little bit more natural. But I might use just the tiniest amount of a blush. Yesterday I used this Milani Cheek Kiss in Pink Kava. I'm kind of thinking maybe I could apply a little bit of this. I like how this has a little bit of a glow built into the blush. So whatever blush you do, it's kind of best to just apply it lightly. So I am going to apply this to the back of my hand first and then go in with my blush brush to apply it. I just find that if I want it to be a bit more subdued, this is the best way to do it. And I'm using this flat angled brush from that Amazon brush set. And I just stamp it around in the blush like this, just to get it evenly distributed on the brush. And then I just lightly tap here on the cheeks. Just a very light application of it. Just enough to kind of warm the cheeks up a little bit, to give them a slight bit of color. But sometimes like a no makeup look can be tricky. Like can be a hard makeup look to do, because it's hard if you use makeup all the time. It's hard to just like apply it lightly and not overdo it. So yeah, that is my tip with the blush, especially if you're using a liquid blush, is to put it on the back of your hand and lightly apply it, because dotting it on the face is really hard to control how much product you're using, and it's harder to build it up, I have found. Okay, and then to set everything, first I'm going to go in with the Morphe Cloud Light Powder in, or Soft Glow Veil in in the shade Dawn. I feel like I said the name of this stuff so backwards. And I'm going to use this E.L.F. large powder brush. So first I'm going to kind of brush it on my cheeks like this to kind of create a little bit of a highlight. See how that just creates just the slightest glow? Because I want to use a slightly more mattifying powder in the center of my face, like on the T-zone. But I did want my cheeks to be slightly a little bit more glowy. So I just lightly kind of put this all over, but I am going to set, like I said, my T-zone with a more matte powder. So to set the T-zone, we're going to use the Wet n Wild Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. And I do like to apply this with my sponge. So oops, I'm just dumping some here in the lid and getting some here on my sponge, and then I'm just gonna tap some of the excess off on the back of my hand. Then I'm just gonna lightly tap this on the under eyes to set my concealer and take it down this area of the face to kind of mattify that, just so my pores aren't as visible, and also take some up here on the forehead. I find that like if I use it with a dampened sponge, it doesn't look quite as powdery, but it just does a great job of mattifying. Okay, so see how that kind of mattified everything there in the T-zone area. And I am going to use a setting spray just to ensure all of this is going to last, but just a super natural, just a very natural makeup look. I love this for every day. So then I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last before I do my mascara. So just slightly mist this. And then I'm going to let that dry down before I go in with my mascara. Alright, so first we're going to curl up the lashes. So I'm just using my Tarte eyelash curler. And let's see. Oh, I'm going to use the Maybelline Lash Sensational Sky High Mascara. This is the Cosmic Black. Since my hair is dark, I do like to use like a darker mascara, but if you had lighter hair, I think a brown mascara is perfect for doing like a no makeup look, just because it makes your lashes stand out, but you know, it looks not quite as overdone as using like a really dark mascara. So just lightly apply that on the upper lashes. This is my everyday, just natural, no makeup. So I hope that you guys did enjoy this. And like I told you all, I'm going to be reading out of my devotional book whenever I do like these get ready with me type of videos. So I'm going to be, this is the book. I'll have it linked down below if you're interested in it. But it's Blessings for Morning and Evening, Life-Giving Words of Encouragement to Begin and End Your Day by Susie Larson. And I've just been reading to you all the morning devotionals in here. This is the one that we are on today. Little kitty cat. So the devotion, trust him, he's got you. May you rise up today with the full assurance that God has your back. He is with you, for you, and actively working on your behalf. He does for you what you cannot do for yourself. May you do for him the one thing you can do. Trust him with your whole heart and embrace joy along the way. Grace and peace to you this day. And the scripture for today is Deuteronomy 31 verse 8. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. So I think that's just a great reminder that if you put your trust in God, like he's always going to be there for you. He's going to be guiding you and just helping you each day. So I really enjoyed that. But I hope that you all enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. I have some other types of videos that I do want to film for you guys, but this morning I had to get ready really quickly since I'm trying to go file my taxes. But maybe when I get back this afternoon, I can film some other videos. It's just so hard when you're working full time to just find time to be able to film YouTube videos, because I do have a job outside of YouTube. But anyway, I will see you all in the next one, and I hope that you guys have a great day. Bye-bye. Mwah.